Hello and welcome to the program. This edition of Newsroom series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka. First, the day's story. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been reacting to media report linking its investigation of one Miss Aisha Achimugu with political undercurrents involving former Vice President Atiku and Lagos State Governor Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The agency clarifies that the investigations have no coloration of any kind with the two men, as Mrs. Achimugu is being investigated for alleged criminal conspiracy and money laundering and has since been declared wanted by the Commission. The EFCC says it commenced investigation in 2022, and though she approached the court to obtain an injunction restraining the Commission from arresting, investigating, inviting, or detaining her for any alleged criminal act, the injunction was challenged and vacated on Wednesday, February the 19th, 2025, by Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja. The Bauchi state government has unveiled the state's 2024 to 2028 multi-sectoral action plan for food and nutrition, an extensive strategy aimed at tackling malnutrition and improving food security across the state. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony, the Deputy Governor and Chairman of the State Nutrition Council, Awel Jato, emphasizes that this initiative marks a significant step forward for the State Governor in his bid to addressing hunger and malnutrition. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, reports.
The Bauchi State Nutrition Council, led by Deputy Governor Awel Jato, officially launches the state's multi-sectoral action plan for nutrition. This initiative was born amid growing concerns about the alarming malnutrition rates in the state. Currently, charity organization Doctors Without Borders, operating in Bauchi State, reports that over 200 children are being treated for malnutrition in their facility. Council members stress the importance of a unified approach to addressing these challenges, recognizing the need for collaborative efforts to effectively combat malnutrition.
For the multi-sectoral plan of action is going to span the period of 5 years, which is clearly costed from 2024 to 2028. This plan aims to reduce hunger, malnutrition, and strengthen policy implementation. So there are layers outlined in this multi-sectoral plan of action, backed by the state policy on food and nutrition, which has to do with this council as the major advocacy platform.
The estimated cost of implementing the 5-year plan is over 800 million naira, and the state government is committed to meeting the plan's objectives with a focus on key priority areas.
9 priority areas have been identified and are considered key to improving nutritional status in the state. The infant and young child feeding, management of severe acute malnutrition, micronutrient deficiency control, diet-related non-communicable diseases, and adolescent nutrition. The other 3 areas are nutrition-sensitive areas, poverty reduction, food security, and water, as well as sanitation.
Other stakeholders, including development partners, have pledged their support to ensure the success of the project, particularly in achieving the sustainable development goals. The government also emphasizes the importance of robust monitoring and evaluation throughout the implementation process. Hajara Ali, Channels Television News.
The Yobe state government, in partnership with civil society group Grow Strong Foundation, has supported over 22,000 orphaned, physically challenged and other vulnerable children to remain in school. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs, who spoke through the Director Women Affairs, Fatima Hassan Yusuf, revealed that the target to keep the children enrolled and sensitization against gender-based violence is the focus of the administration.
Yobe is one of the states in northern Nigeria that experiences low school enrollment, made worse by the fear of insurgent attacks. Yobe is one of the states in northern Nigeria that experiences low school enrollment, made worse by the fear of insurgent attacks on schools. This group of child rights activists under the aegis of the Grow Strong Foundation is partnering with the state government to get 5,600 vulnerable children back to the classrooms. The partnership includes provision of reading and empowerment materials for girls, trained and enlightened on how to detect and report gender-based violence situations.
We have targeted 22,500 vulnerable individuals, among which 5,600, amounting to 15% of the target, are people with disability. Through this project, we have enrolled at least 1,800 children back to formal schools and support them with scholastic materials.
The project overall impacted the life of the vulnerable people and their communities, including vulnerable children, which part of the targets directly we engaged and impacted the life of some certain vulnerability groups of children, including children associated with armed forces and armed groups, which we identified them in those locations. We trained them and supported them with the startup grants so that there will be self-reliance, and then we'll change their mindsets.
The enrollment numbers mean 5,000 less children on the streets, a situation the government believes creates a positive impact within the learning environment.
This project promoting access to multisectoral prevention, promotion and prevention for women and girls has really impacted our communities, more especially Damaturu, Fune and Potiskum. This aspect, more GBB aspect, they have done so many activities, more especially on sensitization, where they sensitize women through radio program and radio jingle on prevention of GBB at our communities.
In series of occasions, the ministry we do receive cases, and we mostly refer some of the cases to GSS. Immediately GSS will respond to almost all the cases that we have referred to them. So we really appreciate and we acknowledge the kind of contributions that GSF has really made in the states.
Civil society organizations who work closely with the government and the group say there are success stories at institutional and community levels.
So far so good. We are almost coming to the end of the project, but we have recorded a lot of success stories. Despite the fact that this is the first time we have accessed this funding, the Nigerian Humanitarian Fund, we were able to scale through. We were able to have a capacity that translates into results that is expected from the project.
The government is concurrently implementing the program in 3 local government areas of Damaturu, Fune and Potiskum, focusing more on the disabled children who are out of school.
The governor of Taraba State, Abu Kefas, is insisting that his administration will not relent in delivering unique dividends of democracy to residents that will culminate in meaningful development for all. The governor made this remark when he paid a working visit to the state's legislative and judicial arms of government to reinforce existing working relationship among the 3 arms of government in the state. It's the first working visit by the governor of Taraba State, Abu Kefas, to the judicial arm of government. He and some other cabinet members are received by the Chief Judge at the State High Court in Jalingo. They settled to discuss various issues, including the independence of the judiciary, digitization of court proceedings, renovation of the State High Court and other courts, and the lack of office accommodation for judicial officers.
Since the construction of the High Court complex more than 20 years ago, it has never been renovated. Your Excellency, there are some staff of the High Court that do not have offices. There are some offices that are meant to accommodate 3 or 4 persons, but which are accommodating 10 to 15 officers. This is not conducive for working.
The visit, according to the governor, is held to cement the working relationship between the executive and the judiciary and to follow up on the workshop organized by the state government for civil servants to enhance monitoring and evaluation of government policies and programs.
Do everything possible to remodel and innovate this place. Also, I'm aware that some judges are not feeling too well, and I've spoken to the Chief Judge that there will be need for us to support all the judges and the magistrates to go on medical. So the Chief Judge will work that out so that you can see the support you can give. With limited resources we have, we'll keep supporting ourselves so that we'll stay alive to work for the good people of Taraba State.
The next stop for Governor Keifas is the State Assembly, where members led by the Speaker, John Kizito, were already waiting. The State Assembly members pass a vote of confidence on the governor and give him the assurance of a better collaboration to deliver more dividends of democracy.
We have resolved as a house to wholly partner with you in order to move this state forward. Our loyalty to this government is 100%. And it is not because of anything, because we have come to understand that you have Taraba State at heart, and we have no reason not to identify with you, not to support you.
The legislature cannot function without the executive and the judiciary. So also the executive cannot function without the support of the legislative and the judiciary. So we are doing this for mutual respect for each of the arms of the government, so that we'll be able to give Taraba citizens the best they deserve, and then to uphold the ethics of democracy.
The state government says it will continue to deliver on its mandate to ensure that all sectors of the state's economy are revived for all. Reactions have continued to trail the affirmation of a death sentence by the Supreme Court on one Sunday Jackson, a farmer, for the killing of a herdsman, Buba Ardo Bawuro, in Numan local government area of Adamawa State. Various groups from across the country, as well as Adamawa, the home state of Jackson, are appealing to Governor Umar Fintiri to step in and use the power of his office to save Jackson from being executed.
It is a bumpy drive on the road leading to Dong, a farming community in Demsa local government area of Adamawa State, a few kilometers from Yola, the state capital. Channels Television's crew arrives the community and heads to the residence of the traditional leader to intimate him on the reason for the visit. Speaking in Hausa language, he laments the Supreme Court's judgment on Sunday Jackson.
When these incidents happened, we went to the family of the deceased headsman to condole with them over what happened, stressing it was not an intentional act. We farmers and the headsmen forgave each other after going through all this, only for him to be sentenced to death.
Channels Television proceeds to the residence of Sunday Jackson. According to sources, Jackson, who is 29, a farmer and a student, is married and has 2 children. Since his incarceration in 2015, his wife has left the community and is said to have remarried. At the family compound of Sunday Jackson, they wear gloomy faces, looking confused and wondering how a case of self-defense has suddenly turned into a verdict of murder and death by hanging. A heap of refuse dump is what is left of the spot that was once Jackson's hut, surrounded by other huts. His aunt and his immediate younger sister lament the turn of events and the impact of the community.
The whole Dong, not Dong alone, the whole villages surrounding us, they were crying because we don't know this boy with this with bad habit.
And we are here to crying about our brother, that we're missing him. That we miss him 10 years ago.
The 70-year-old father of late Buba Ardo Bawuro, in an interview with Channels Television, describes the killing of his son as unfortunate. He also adds his voice, appealing to the governor of Adamawa State, Umar Fintiri, to save Sunday Jackson from the hangman's noose.
What I'm saying is that vengeance is never satisfied. My wish is that he should be forgiven because my son is already gone. These incidents happened years ago, and we as a family, we have put that behind us.
As Dong community continues to lament over the fate of their kinsman, the Gongola People's Forum, a socio-cultural group, and the traditional ruler of Bachama Kingdom have also lent their voices, urging the Adamawa State Governor to intervene and save the life of Sunday Jackson.
We are calling upon Governor Umar Fintiri to grant a pardon to Mr. Sunday Jackson and save him from the sentence of death by hanging.
Bachama Traditional Council will not relent in its effort to ensure that Sunday Jackson receives justice through prerogative of mercy and clemency from the right quarters.
It would be recalled that Sunday Jackson was working on his farm in Kodomti in Numan local government area of Adamawa State when a herdsman, Buba Ardo Bawuro, allegedly herded his cattle into Sunday's farm to feed on his crops. When Sunday confronted him, he pulled out a knife and a fight ensued, resulting in Bawuro's death. Efforts to get reactions from the Fulani umbrella group Mieti Allah did not yield results, as they declined to comment on the Supreme Court ruling which sentenced the farmer to death by hanging. The police public relations officer at Adamawa Command also said it is not within his jurisdiction to speak, as it's already a judicial matter.
The Gombe state government says its efforts to provide dedicated, uninterrupted electricity to the Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park is more than 80% completion stage. While on a tour to assess the progress of work at the Dadinkowa power plant, as well as the industrial park, the State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Tourism reveals how government is raising investor confidence with the provision of steady power supply, conducive atmosphere, including other paraphernalia, for the effective operations of existing and prospective businesses in the park. The multi-billion naira industrial cluster, which is in proximity to the 40 megawatts Dadinkowa hydroelectric power plant, is one of the flagship projects of the Inuwa Yahaya-led government aimed at driving socio-economic development in Gombe State. I'll bring you that actuality shortly. But in the meantime, in Gombe as well, as the Ramadan and Lenten seasons come to a close and the Salah celebrations draw near, the Gombe state government is sharing 25,000 bags of 10 kilograms of rice to poor and vulnerable persons across its 11 local government areas. The consignment, which was donated by the Dangote Foundation, was handed over by Governor Yahaya's Chief of Staff, Abubakar Kari, to local government council chairpersons, heads of religious and civil society groups. The palliatives are shared to both Christian and Muslim groups in the state.
These are truckloads of rice ready for delivery across the 11 local government areas of Gombe State for Christians and Muslims observing fasting. After sharing palliatives on the first day of Ramadan, the Gombe State government says it is handing out all the 25,000 bags of 10-kilogram rice donated by the Dangote Foundation to persons in dire need of food.
The Aliko Dangote Foundation sent 25,000 bags of 10 kg rice for distribution across the state. And in his usual wisdom, His Excellency directed that the normal procedure that we have been following since the inception of this administration of doing a detailed distribution that goes to the nooks and crannies of the state and reaching the most vulnerable should be adopted for this exercise.
While lauding Dangote Foundation's generosity, local officials say the Inuwa Yahaya government is also creating a strong ecosystem for shared prosperity.
Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya had created a unique mode of distribution, ensuring transparency in the selection process and involving all categories of organizations whose members are supposed to be beneficiaries of such distribution. So organizations are now gaining confidence in bringing such kind of suko to Gombe because of the model created by Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya.
We have received this consignment from Aliko Dangote Foundation, about 25,000 bags of 10 kg rice. So the way we used to distribute our own palliatives is across the 11 local government, across the 114 ward of the state. So we have committee from the local, from state level, local government level, and the ward level.
To you, the 11 local
Visibly happy to receive the consignment for our people, chairperson of Shogum local government area of Gombe State, Fatima Bello, describes what the gesture means for families at the grassroots.
To appreciate the donor for his kind gesture that has brought it down to Gombe State, and not only to the state capital, to the grassroots. And there is a specification on how to distribute. We have been distributing palliative, but this one comes in a special way because it has a targeted people that are supposed to benefit.
Beyond handing out palliatives to the poor and vulnerable persons, Gombe State says it remains committed to ensuring better economic conditions for all and sundry in the state.
And on that charitable note, we end the program. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again, same time next week, when we'll bring you another round of editions of the program. In the meantime, it'll be good to say Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Bye for now.